Kito stood outside his family's small mud hut, staring at the thick trees of Ulu Forest. His sister, Dalia, lay sick inside, her breathing slow and weak. The healer from the village had visited earlier, shaking his head sadly. "The only thing that can save her is the golden leaf herb," he had said, "but it grows deep inside the forbidden Ulu Forest. No one dares go there. It's too dangerous." Kito's heart raced. He loved his sister more than anything, and he couldn't bear the thought of losing her. He clenched his fists, determination filling his chest. He would go into the forest. He would find the herb, no matter what dangers lurked inside. As the sun began to set, Kito grabbed his small pouch and a walking stick. His mother tried to stop him, her eyes filled with fear. "Kito, you cannot go. The spirits of the forest will not let you return." But Kito shook his head. "I have to try, Mama. Dalia needs me." Without waiting for another word, he stepped into the shadows of Ulu Forest, unaware of the ancient secret that awaited him. As Kito walked deeper into the forest, the air grew thick and heavy, as if the trees themselves were watching him. He could feel their presence, their old branches swaying in a slow, eerie rhythm. The deeper he went, the quieter the world became. The only sound was the crunch of leaves beneath his feet. Suddenly, a soft whisper brushed past his ear. He spun around, eyes wide, but there was no one there. His heart pounded in his chest. "Who's there?" he called, his voice shaking. The whisper came again, this time clearer. "Kito. Kito." Kito froze. How did the voice know his name? He backed away, but the voice followed him, swirling around him like the wind. "Go back, boy. Go back before it's too late." But Kito shook his head, his fear turning into defiance. "I won't leave. I need the golden leaf to save my sister." The trees seemed to rustle in response, as if they understood his desperation. The voice grew silent, leaving Kito alone with his thoughts. He took a deep breath, his hands trembling. Whatever was out there, he would face it. For Dalia. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the forest became a maze of shadows. Kito's legs ached from walking, but he couldn't stop now. He had to find the herb before it was too late. His sister's face flashed in his mind, pale, weak, helpless. He couldn't let her die. Suddenly, the path in front of him split into two. One path was narrow and overgrown with thorns, while the other was wide and smooth. Kito hesitated. The easy path looked tempting, but something about it felt wrong. The wind picked up, carrying another whisper. "Choose wisely, Kito. One path leads to safety, the other to doom." His heart raced as he stared at the two paths. The whispers were starting again, swirling around him, louder this time. His hands tightened around his walking stick as he made his choice. "I will not be afraid," he whispered to himself. Without looking back, he took the narrow, thorny path. It cut at his legs and arms, but he pressed on, the whispers fading behind him. As Kito continued through the narrow path, the trees seemed to close in around him. The darkness felt alive, pressing against him like a thick blanket. His breathing grew heavier, and his legs felt like they would give out at any moment. But he couldn't stop. Not yet. A figure suddenly appeared in the distance, standing in the shadows of the trees. Kito froze, his heart pounding in his ears. The figure didn't move, just stood there, watching him. It was tall, shrouded in mist, and its face was hidden by a deep hood. "Who are you?" Kito asked, his voice shaking. The figure didn't answer, but instead raised a bony hand, pointing deeper into the forest. "Turn back, boy," it said in a raspy voice. "You are not welcome here." This forest holds secrets that should remain buried. Kito swallowed hard, his legs trembling. But he couldn't turn back now. I have to save my sister, he said, his voice barely a whisper. I need the golden leaf. The figure's hand lowered slowly, and for a moment, it seemed to soften. The path you've chosen is dangerous. But if you continue, you will uncover things you wish you had never known. Kito felt a chill run down his spine, but he stood his ground. I'm not afraid. The figure slowly disappeared into the mist, leaving Kito alone once more. The forest seemed to breathe around him, and the shadows grew darker, as if they were waiting for him to take the next step. With each step, Kito could feel the forest changing. The trees whispered louder, their voices twisting through the air like 1,000 secrets. Some voices begged him to turn back, while others urged him forward, deeper into the heart of the forest. You are close, one voice whispered. South close to the truth. Kito's head spun, the voices filling his mind. He stumbled forward, his legs weak, his heart racing. The air around him felt thick, like he was walking through water. Every breath he took felt heavy, weighed down by the unknown secrets hidden in the forest. As he pushed through the thick vines, Kito suddenly saw a small clearing up ahead. His breath caught in his throat. Could it be? Could this be where the golden leaf grew? But just as he stepped forward, the ground beneath him shifted. His foot slipped, and before he could react, he was falling into the darkness below. Kito landed with a thud in a dark, damp tunnel. He groaned, feeling the sting of scratches on his arms and legs. The air was cold and musty, and he quickly scrambled to his feet, shaking off the shock of his fall. He had to move. Time was ticking away for Dalia. As he stumbled through the dark tunnel, the echoes of his footsteps bounced off the damp walls. He could hear distant sounds, like soft crying or whispers, but he couldn't tell where they were coming from. His heart raced. What was down here? What kind of secrets did this place hold? After a few moments, Kito saw a faint light ahead. It flickered like a tiny star, beckoning him closer. He took a deep breath and hurried toward it, each step filled with a mix of hope and fear. The whispers grew louder, swirling around him, guiding him to the light. Follow us, Kito, the voices urged. You are meant to find what is lost. The glow became brighter, revealing the tunnel's end. Kito stepped into a vast underground chamber filled with glowing plants and strange stones. The sight took his breath away. It was beautiful yet eerie, a hidden world beneath the forest. As Kito took in the wonders of the chamber, he noticed two tall figures standing guard over a shimmering pool at the center. They were the guardians of the forest, their skin a deep shade of green and adorned with vines and flowers. Their eyes glowed with a soft, golden light. What brings you to our sacred space, young boy? One guardian asked, its voice deep and resonant. I'm looking for the golden leaf, Kito replied, trying to steady his voice. My sister is sick, and it's the only thing that can save her. The guardians exchanged glances, their expressions unreadable. Many have come seeking the golden leaf, but few have returned. The forest tests the hearts of those who enter, the other guardian said softly. Kito felt a shiver run down his spine. I'll do whatever it takes. I have to save her. The guardian stepped aside, revealing the pool. It shimmered with a golden light, and at its edge, a single golden leaf floated gently on the surface. To take the leaf, you must prove your worth, the first guardian said. You must face the challenge of the forest. Kito nodded, determination burning in his chest. He stepped toward the shimmering pool, ready to reach for the leaf. But as he stretched out his hand, the surface of the water rippled, and a dark shadow emerged from below. A giant serpent-like creature rose from the depths, its eyes glowing like embers. It hissed, its voice echoing in the chamber. Only the brave can claim the golden leaf. To pass, you must face your deepest fear. Kito took a step back, heart pounding. What could the serpent show him? The creature dove into the water, sending waves crashing against the walls of the chamber. The whispers in the air grew frantic, urging him to move, but he stood frozen. Suddenly, images began to swirl before his eyes. He saw Dalia lying weak and pale, calling out for him. Then, the vision shifted to his mother's fearful face as she begged him not to go into the forest. His heart ached. Was he putting his family in danger by venturing into the unknown? No. Kito shouted, shaking his head. I won't let fear control me. I will save my sister. The serpent reared back, surprised by Kito's outburst. It paused, and for a moment, silence fell over the chamber. Kito took a deep breath, his courage surging. I'm not afraid of you or the fear you bring. I am here for my sister, and nothing will stop me. With that, he lunged forward, reaching for the golden leaf. As his fingers brushed the leaf, the serpent let out a furious hiss. Water exploded around him, swirling in a storm of energy. Kito felt himself being pulled into the depths, but he held on tightly to the leaf, his determination stronger than the fear gripping him. In that moment, the whispers transformed into a single, powerful voice. You are worthy, Kito. You have shown true bravery. Take the leaf and fulfill your destiny. With a final surge of strength, Kito emerged from the water, clutching the golden leaf in his hand. The serpent roared in frustration, but Kito stood tall, feeling a wave of energy wash over him. The guardians stepped forward, their expressions softening as they regarded Kito. You have passed the test, young one, the first guardian said. You are indeed brave. But your journey is not yet over. Kito felt a rush of gratitude. Thank you. I will return home to save my sister, he said, glancing at the golden leaf in his hand. But as he turned to leave, the second guardian spoke again. Wait, Kito. The forest is filled with dangers, and you will need help to navigate its depths. We will grant you a companion for your journey. With that, a small creature emerged from behind the guardians. It looked like a cross between a monkey and a bird, with bright, feathered wings and curious eyes. This is Connie, the first guardian explained. He knows the forest well and will guide you safely to the exit. Kito smiled, feeling a spark of hope. Thank you. Together, we can find our way. He gently stroked Connie's soft feathers, and the little creature chirped happily in response. With the golden leaf secure in his pouch and Connie perched on his shoulder, Kito felt ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The forest was still filled with secrets, but now he had an ally by his side. As Kito and Connie made their way back through the underground chamber, the whispers began to shift again. This time, they spoke of the dangers that awaited them outside, of the spirits that roamed freely and tested the hearts of those who entered the forest. Stay close to me, Connie, Kito said, feeling a mixture of excitement and fear. We need to be careful. Connie nodded, his eyes wide with curiosity. Together, they navigated through the dark tunnels, emerging back into the thick foliage of Ulu Forest. The moonlight filtered through the trees, casting a silvery glow on their path. But as they stepped out, a chilling wind blew past them, carrying with it a whisper of warning. Kito, you are not safe yet. The forest remembers. Kito's heart raced as he looked around. What does that mean? He asked Connie, but the little creature only tilted his head, uncertain. Kito and Connie moved cautiously, the forest alive with sounds. The trees rustled, and strange creatures scurried in the underbrush. Every shadow seemed to hold a secret, and Kito felt the weight of the forest pressing down on him. Stay close, Kito whispered, tightening his grip on the golden leaf. We have to find a way out before anything else happens. But just then, the shadows seemed to shift, and figures began to emerge from the trees. They were the spirits of the forest, translucent and glowing, their eyes filled with an ancient wisdom. "Why do you disturb our sacred home?" one spirit asked, its voice echoing like a distant bell. "I'm trying to save my sister," Kito explained, his voice shaking slightly. "I need to get back to the village with this herb." The spirits exchanged glances, their expressions unreadable. "The forest demands respect, young one. You have proven your bravery, but the path ahead is fraught with peril." Kito took a deep breath, trying to muster all the courage he had left. "I understand. But I have to go. Dalia is counting on me." The spirits nodded slowly, and one of them stepped forward. "Very well, Kito. You may pass. But remember, every choice has its consequences." Kito nodded, feeling a sense of relief wash over him. "Thank you." As he moved deeper into the forest with Connie, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching him, waiting for the right moment to strike. After a while, Kito and Connie reached another fork in the road. One path was dark and tangled, while the other was bright, lined with glowing flowers. Kito felt a pull toward the bright path but hesitated. What if it was a trap? Connie chirped softly, looking up at him with encouraging eyes. "Let's go that way," Kito said, pointing to the glowing flowers. "It feels right." As they walked, the flowers seemed to hum with energy, their light illuminating their way. But just as they felt safe, a low growl echoed through the trees. Kito's heart sank. "What was that?" he whispered, panic creeping in. Connie fluffed his feathers, ready to fly. "Stay alert." Before they could react, a large shadow leaped from the bushes, a wildcat with glowing eyes, its muscles tense and ready to pounce. Kito froze, feeling fear grip his heart. The cat stood before them, a predator hungry for prey. "Why are you in my territory?" "Little boy," it growled, its voice deep and menacing. I am just passing through." Kito stammered, his mind racing. "Please, I mean no harm." The cat narrowed its eyes, sensing Kito's fear. "You seek something, don't you? What is it you desire?" Kito took a deep breath, summoning his courage. "I need the golden leaf to save my sister." The cat paused, considering his words. "Oh, the golden leaf, many have sought its power. But it comes at a price. Will you pay it?" "What do you want?" Kito asked, heart pounding. "Bring me the heart of the forest, and I will let you pass." The cat's eyes gleamed with a wicked light. Kito's stomach dropped. "I can't do that. I won't hurt anyone." The cat let out a chilling laugh. "Then you will not pass. The forest will keep you forever." Kito felt trapped, torn between fear and his desire to save Dalia. He glanced at Connie, who was ready to take flight. But Kito stood firm, refusing to give in to the cat's demands. "No," he shouted. "I won't harm anything to save my sister. There must be another way." The cat's expression shifted, surprised by Kito's defiance. "You think your kindness will save you? The forest is ruthless." Kito took a step forward, heart pounding. "Maybe it is, but I believe in doing what's right. I won't let fear or power dictate my choices." The air around them crackled with energy, and the spirits of the forest began to swirl around them, their whispers rising in a crescendo. "You have the power to choose your own fate, Kito," they echoed. The wildcat snarled, its form flickering as if struggling against an unseen force. "You dare defy me? You will regret this." But Kito stood tall, his heart steady. "I'd rather face whatever comes than betray my values." In that moment, the spirits responded to his bravery. A radiant light enveloped Kito, and the cat recoiled, hissing in pain. No. This is not how it should end. Kito felt a surge of strength as the light spread around him. You cannot control me, he declared, lifting the golden leaf high above his head. It shimmered with a brilliant glow, illuminating the darkness of the forest. The wild cat writhed, caught in the light's brilliance. Stop. You'll destroy everything. But Kito shook his head. I won't let fear win. The forest is a part of me now, and I will protect it, just as I protect my family. With a final burst of energy, Kito thrust the golden leaf forward. The light surged, and the wild cat howled as the shadows around it faded. No. And then, with a blinding flash, the cat vanished, leaving only the sound of rustling leaves behind. Kito breathed heavily, the weight of fear lifting from his shoulders. Connie chirped joyfully, flapping his wings. You did it, Kito. You showed true bravery. Kito smiled, his heart swelling with pride. We did it together, Connie. But we still have to find our way home. As they continued down the path, the forest felt different, more alive and welcoming. The whispers of the spirits became a gentle song, guiding them toward the village. After what felt like an eternity, Kito and Connie emerged from the forest, the warm glow of the village lights shining in the distance. Kito's heart raced with excitement and relief. He was almost home. Dalia, he shouted, racing toward the familiar sights of the village. Connie flew ahead, chirping in delight. As Kito reached his home, he burst through the door. Dalia. I'm back. His sister lay in bed, her face pale and thin, but her eyes sparkled with a hint of hope. Kito, she whispered, struggling to sit up. I found it. Kito exclaimed, holding out the golden leaf. I found the herb to save you. Dalia's eyes widened as she reached for the leaf, her hands trembling. You did it. You really did it. Kito nodded, tears of joy spilling down his cheeks. We'll be okay now. You'll feel better soon, I promise. As he crushed the leaf and prepared to give it to her, Connie perched on his shoulder, watching with a proud gaze. The bond between them had grown strong, forged through trials and bravery. As Dalia consumed the golden leaf, a warm light enveloped her. Kito watched in awe as her color returned, her strength revitalizing. It was a miracle, and he couldn't help but feel grateful for the journey he had taken. Thank you, Kito, Dalia said, her voice stronger now. I knew you'd find a way. I couldn't have done it without Connie, Kito replied, giving his companion a gentle pat. He helped me face my fears and find the courage I needed. Just then, their mother entered the room, eyes wide with shock. Kito. You're home. And Dalia, you look better. I found the golden leaf, Mama. Kito beamed, feeling the warmth of family surround him. Dalia is going to be okay. Tears of relief filled their mother's eyes as she rushed to embrace her children. You are both so brave. I'm so proud of you. In the days that followed, Dalia's health improved, and the village celebrated her recovery. Kito felt a deep sense of satisfaction, knowing that he had overcome great challenges to protect his family. But he also realized that the adventure had changed him. He had faced fears, learned the importance of courage, and discovered the strength of love and family bonds. As he sat with Connie by the riverbank one sunny afternoon, he looked out over the water and smiled. We did it, Connie. We showed the forest the power of kindness. Connie chirped in agreement, fluttering his wings. Together, they watched the sun dip below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the village of Ulu. But deep down, Kito knew that this was just the beginning of their adventures. The forest still held many secrets, and he felt a pull to explore further, to learn from the spirits, and to protect the magic of their world. One evening, as the stars twinkled above, Kito heard a soft whisper carried by the wind. It was calling him, urging him to return to the forest. "Do you hear that, Connie?" Kito asked, excitement bubbling within him. "The forest is calling us again." Connie nodded, his eyes sparkling with anticipation. Kito felt a mix of nervousness and thrill. There were still many mysteries to uncover, and he wanted to face them head-on, just like he had done before. "We should go back," Kito said, his heart racing at the thought of more adventures. "The forest has more to teach us, and we can help protect it too." As they set off toward the darkened trees, a sense of purpose filled Kito's heart. With Connie by his side, he was ready to embrace whatever challenges awaited him. Together, they ventured into the depths of Ulu Forest, their laughter mingling with the whispers of the trees, ready to unlock the secrets that still lay hidden in the shadows.